What's up guys, Mr. SLIN, and I did a demo review of an ESEA intermediate level soldier, roaming soldier I should say, named Summer. Summer was ringing for El Classico, which is a lower tier invite team in North America. And I was doing a review, I was just streaming like normal, and then Summer was in my stream and said, hey, can you just look at my POV and just tell me about some of the decisions I made and, give me some tips and advice on it, or like, what is your perspective on this situation? And I said, sure, I'd be more than happy to do that. Unfortunately, I forgot to turn off the music until like halfway through doing the demo review, so I had to clip the first half of the demo review out of this. So you're only going to get the second half, but I still feel like I break down a few good moments and just give you an idea of what it's like to play, like about the decision making behind a low invite, high intermediate level roaming soldier playing up against the other team is called Good Players featuring Luxor, which is the they're one of two teams that are tied for first place right now in intermediate. The other team being my team, but both teams are undefeated. We're actually playing against that team on Sunday, so I was watching this demo for that reason, to sort of study them a little bit. But yeah, just go ahead, watch this video. Hopefully you learned something about Roamer, and if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them in the comments below, or shoot it over to my subreddit. But thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time. The play call that you made was the wrong call. So what your team is trying to do in this situation, I'm gonna rewind back a little bit so I can show you what I mean. So if I can rewind back time for a moment, your team was down one player, right? You can see here on the right side of my screen that your team is down one player, and they also have a 40% Uber advantage. So the exact thing that you do not want to do is immediately engage in a team fight. That's the exact opposite thing that your team wants to do. What your team wants to do in this position, if you're playing by the book, is to stall as long as you can in an attempt to get, first of all you need to do is stall 5 seconds to get Ictus alive, and then you need to stall an additional 15 seconds to catch up to Luxor's Uber. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to avoid the team fight for as long as possible. You want to avoid anything that would start a team fight. You want to avoid anything that would trigger a push. So dying is literally the last thing on your mind. What you want to do, though, is scout out where they're coming from, focus fire that spot, get some free damage in, sure. And if you get some free damage in, then they can't push you, right? So if I'm looking at your positioning down, where are you? Goodness gracious, you are... Where? Oh yeah, this is you. Okay. So what you want to do is what's called like a high value play. A high value play would be you do 150 damage and you take 30 damage. Okay, you're getting 120 damage of value. And I'm going like really far down the theory crafting here, but like what you want to do is land rockets on them, not take those rockets in return, and then go back and buff up. And because it'll take you less time to buff up than it will take them to buff up, you will get an advantage that way. If you do a lot of damage and also trade 1 for 1, you're triggering the team fight, right? So even though you see this pick there and you get the pick, it's also allowing them to push you and start the team fight. That's exactly what you didn't want to do. Now, to be fair, the team fight was also started because Ictus fed and he just died for no reason. But all that said, like, I feel that it would have been better if you got the damage that you wanted and then immediately backed off, played the high ground, spam them down, and then kite the Uber. That's what you wanted to do. And by dying right there, like, sure, you trade 1 for 1, and sure, it's like overall not a huge deal. I feel like that could have been played better. So I'm just gonna put that out there. All right, so far we've seen 2 rounds. The first round you go top left and it sucked. The second round you go kitchen and it's much better. Their kitchen, I should call it. Sorry. You go their kitchen and it's much better. This time you go back to the first round and go back to the top left mid, which sucked. So let's see how this works out for you. Big bomb. Ooh, you have to use 2 rockets to get that bomb off and you do nothing. Again, I'm just going to state the obvious. I feel like top left middles suck. I think you're 0 for 2 for top left middles, and I supremely disagree with your choice to go top left. I'm just going to put that out there, just say it for the record, just let it be known that I do not think roaming soldier top left middles are a good way to go. I think it would have been slightly better if you were able to execute that bomb with only 1 rocket, because you're going to need all the rockets you can get in order to get the picks that you want or get the damage in that you want at the very minimum. I think that, like, even though you could argue like your team wins middle and it worked out anyways, and like maybe that's one way to say it, but I think that's the play in general. I just disagree with the play a lot. Anyways, you guys come in here with full Uber advantage and you get a kill, which is really solid. And then I really like this decision by you to play the high ground on Shaq, because you know that you're at low health and you know that your medic wants to put the heals into the scout demo. So I really, really like that call by you to play high ground and just spam. That was really, really smart. So you, like when you were really healthy, you bombed in, got the kill you wanted, and then when you were really unhealthy, you played hide advantage and you spammed rockets in. That was really, really intelligent. And generally, when you're playing, for any of you guys out there who are watching this demo, when you see your medic with a lot of players next to him, that means you're not in an opportunity to get a lot of heals, right? And if you see your medic with nobody next to him, that means you can drop down and potentially take the heals. But because you know that their medic is surrounded by a lot of players, you don't want to be taking a lot of heals. Now, this time you go for a top right middle and sneak behind them. Really, really good decision here. This is going to net you a lot of damage, as you're about to see, because I've watched this already. And there's one kill. It works out okay. You got one life for 2 lives. You trade 1 for 2, so it's gonna be good. Again, I'm not a big fan of like using 2 rockets to bomb in, but like because you were able to get the saw, that's gonna give you the health pack, and that's gonna give you time to reload your rockets, and soldiers take a long time to reload rockets. So I just like what you did in general. I think that was really, really smart. I think like that the rocket placement could have been a little bit better, especially when you're playing at this level of TF2, where like a low invite, high intermediate level, like you should probably be hitting those rockets. That's why I was like I feel like that should have been like an easy kill for you. But overall, you played that really well, and like you made the right decision at least. It got really sketchy when you had to use like an extra rocket to like jump in and try and get their medic. So. Anyways, here they come now. They're pushing in, dry push, and you're not really playing hide advantage here, which is something that I'm not a big fan of. But you guys do have a kill, and now you're playing hide advantage. I think this is okay. So I think you reversed it. I think you played it wrong. I think you should have been very high ground, very high health when they started pushing in, and then as soon as you got the pick on a Nuck, you should have immediately bombed. And because what they want to do right here, right? As soon as they lose Nuck, assuming that Thor didn't die, if they lost Nuck, they want to back out, right? They do not want to take a 5 versus 6 fight. You need to do the opposite of that. Whenever they want to do something, you do the exact opposite. If they want to back out of a 5 versus 6 fight, you want to force them into a 6v5 fight. So you should have jumped them, made them fight you, and then your teammates would have been able to come in and clean up on that kill. Now, Thor dying there is really unfortunate, so you guys are resetting, so it's good that you're not committing to this fight. And I'm not quite sure why you're positioning yourself like this, because you guys have 20% advantage. You should have been pushing. So you should not have been on the awning. You should have been pushing right there. So I feel like that was a mistake as well. Like, if you have 20% Uber advantage, it doesn't matter if you're Pocket Soldier or Roaming Soldier. Like, you should be taking the Uber into them. But now you're taking an even Uber exchange here. You're very much the Roaming Soldier in this role, I can see. There's no flexibility between you just swapping the Pocket every once in a while. Maybe you're just like, maybe because you're the ringing player and you're just like not that confident in it. But if I were you, I would have taken the Uber into Saw and tried to fight them. Right here, you're baiting really hard because you're low health. That sucks. You did what you could. But I think the rotation was slow, which is why you had to jump into cheese as late as you did. So ideally, when you're playing Roaming Soldier, like, you want your rotations to be on point. Rocket aim is always something that you can forgive. I can always look back at a play and go, okay, you missed your rockets, not a big deal. But the rotations are something that I cannot forgive. So if you are peeking lower and you do not see their combo, the only safe thing to assume is that they're coming off the other side of the map. So you should have been rotating faster. And because you knew that your Thor was dead, you should have rotated way faster. Here they're pushing with large Uber advantage, and you're getting some mega rockets in there, which is sick. Nice. I like that you have a bind to swap over and keep the triple heal rate for your medic. I don't see any reason to drop off the high ground there, but you're securing kills and it's working, so I'm not complaining. Okay. And yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, you did all that you could have done there. Your team still loses that anyways, but you did all that you could have done. You got like a lot of damage in top right. You immediately got crit heals from your medic, and then you got a couple kills at the end. You did what you could. That's good. Okay. So you've tried a couple different mids, right? You've tried the right side middles, and those seem to work a lot better than the left side middles. So if I were you, I would keep playing to the right, because that's working against this team. And that's just a trial by error kind of thing, you know, trial and error. If it was working, keep doing it. And you're going back to your kitchen thing again, which worked out well for you on the second mid. So here you go for this bomb, and then, oh, this is so beautiful. So nice. And you're shooting the demo man in the back. Oh, this is just beautiful. This is amazing. This is, you could not ask for more out of a mid, out of your Roaming Soldier. Like, getting a medic pick and a demo pick, amazing. Really good awareness too, recognizing there's a scout behind. I think Bear misplayed that. I don't think there was anything that you could have done better to stop that scout coming in on you guys. So I think you played that really well. I think that was just, again, slow rotations, right? You knew there's a scout behind you. You need to get out of lower as fast as you can. And Bear just a little bit slow on his rotation to middle. And then you could have been a little bit faster as well, jumping out as well, because you were at like 100 health, so it just slowed the rotation down. I would have much preferred if you guys knew he was behind you, immediately push forward and get away from that scout and not let Bear die. So I think that was a mistake there. But I am noticing that from you, Summer. Like, I am noticing that, like, your strength lies in roaming, and you're not really comfortable when your pocket soldier dies. And one of the pieces of advice that I'd give you is, like, if you're really serious about playing next season, start to study, like, more about what pocket soldiers do, because you should at least be familiar with what the next play is as a pocket soldier, just so that you have the flexibility for your pocket soldier to die every once in a while. And then, like, you don't want it to be like your pocket soldier dies and your team is totally screwed. Wow. Again, your roaming is sick. Like, this is amazing. Killing the medic there, and a soldier is just a really high value play. Getting an extra rocket there on the scout too is bonus points. So just really, really solid move there by you. And yeah, that just cannot be overstated. That is a round saving play. So that is really, really good. Now, for those of you guys that are at home, like, oh, I saw Summer do this really sick move in window. Like, there's a lot of coordination that goes into that. You know, like people calming that the saw is open like that he's able to make that play and the coordination. So you can't just randomly bomb into window. Like, it's a timing attack. So just keep that in mind if you're going to attempt to do that on your own too. I think, like, again, if you're playing by the book, the play to make by the book would be standing on top of shack and spamming yard. But because you're going for these cheese plays, because you're going for a surprise attack, you know, it's more of a gamble. It's high risk, high reward. Right here, high health bombing on top of their heads. I don't really like that decision. Because you took a lot of damage, right? So yeah, you did a lot of damage, but you also took a lot of damage. I think you could have done the exact same thing, but taking less damage by landing on top of the shack instead. I think landing on the shack is stronger because you're allowed to use the lip. Sorry, you're allowed to use the lip of the shack to deny damage that's incoming. It's like harder for the scout to jump up there. The demo man like can't even see up there sometimes. So like that's way better than like landing on top of their head and still allowing him to shoot you. Like, sure, he's not going to shoot a pipe into you because it's going to kill him. Or maybe I think that's what he did actually, but yeah, I don't like the idea of like landing directly on his head. I think it's kind of I think it's funny, but it's not like not optimal. Right here, you're trying to turn them around, and I don't really see the purpose in doing that. So you're actually feeding right now. Did not like that decision at all, because what ends up happening here is like your team had very large Uber advantage. So let me go back and I can tell you what the proper play was to do. And sorry about this, the noises outside. My windows are open, so you're gonna get that sometimes. I just bought a new computer case and a new cooler, and my room will actually stay cool throughout the summer. So that way, or my computer will stay cool throughout the summer, so we can actually like close the windows when I'm recording YouTube videos. Anyways, going back to, okay, this is actually too far back. Okay, yeah. So this is the one before. Again, I think you could have done the exact same thing by landing on top of the shack and then getting the same kills, getting the same damage. And you could also, given your height, you could have landed above the health pack on that fence, and that would have put you farther away from Sketch. Like, if you land on shack, Sketch might still be able to kill you, but if you land on bind F4 demo UI, if you land here, then you're not going to take damage from Sketch. Like, if you land on top of the fence, it's like virtually impossible for Sketch to hit any shots on you. Now, Sketch isn't going for you anyways, but still. Okay, so right here, your team has 2-man advantage. Okay, so the play right now, right, you always have to ask, what's the other team trying to do? The red team is trying, they don't want to play up against the choke points because they can get flanked. So their team is trying to stall middle as long as they can and get as many forward spawns as possible, and then back up to second point and try and get Uber in time. So what does your team want to do? Your team wants to do the exact opposite. Your team wants to push middle as quickly as you can to deny them from getting forward spawns and also prevent them from getting Uber in time. And because you have 20% advantage, you should be thinking a couple steps ahead. If you're an invite level player, you could think a couple steps ahead. You should think, okay, get into middle, clear them out, and then Uber advantage push into second point. That's what you should be thinking right now. So let's see how this goes. Well, you're starting to push the flank right now, which is beautiful, because by moving into the kitchen here, it's forcing the team to back up, right? Their team doesn't want to get caught out playing over here where my cursor is. They want to be playing back out. They don't want to be flanked. So by pushing kitchen, you're doing a great job of forcing them back into their saw. Amazing. This is great. This is exactly what you wanted. You took middle before they could get their spawns in time to defend it. Perfect. Okay, now next step. The next step is take your 14% Uber advantage and your 1-man advantage there, and then immediately start the next push without anybody dying. And I think if you die in this push, that's a mistake. So you're moving towards yard, and you're in window, and Thor goes for big bomb. And I think the reason this happens is because Bear is just not counting Ubers. He's either doing a great job of counting Ubers or a terrible job. Like if he's doing a great job, then like if he's doing a great job of counting Ubers and he thinks you guys have like the other team has Uber, then this is a perfect sacrifice play to like force Luxor. But if he's doing a proper job of counting Ubers, he would realize that he has Uber advantage this whole time, and he should not be going for a bombing play here. Now Thor goes for a play that clears space, right? Thor goes out of the window, but he's not getting in the mix. He's not getting behind them. He's not turning them around. All he's trying to do is threaten the bomb onto Luxor to push them out, right? So I think Thor could have taken less damage doing that, but the idea is solid, right? Just jumping to force them back. You do the same thing, but the spot you choose to land on is like over here, which is going to be like cause you to die. Now again, your team has very large Uber advantage, so Thor is doing the right thing because Bear is just moments away from catching up to Thor, popping on Thor, and then killing Luxor. But you need to not die here. You need to force them off the point or put pressure on their medic without dying. That your main objective here is to not die. Also, you only have a 1-man advantage now. You don't even have a man advantage because you have a scout and forward spawn. So it's a 5-on-5, and you definitely cannot die here. So and think about it this way: even if Bear made the call this was even Ubers, it's gonna take 8 seconds for this Uber to wear off. So you're in 8 seconds too early, basically. So right here, you're and not only that, but you like got surrounded, and you never want to get surrounded. So you have to evacuate immediately, and right here you die to spam damage, which is just like too much going on. Like you can see there's too many people taking damage on the team. You're taking damage, Ictus is taking damage, Thor's taking damage. Like too many people are taking damage at the same time, and that's too overwhelming. That's too much for Bear to deal with, as you can see. Like he's flashing around, sure, but like this is already too much for him to deal with, and this play is gonna fall apart right here. So yeah, if you were to do that play over again, what I suggest you do is recognize that you had a 1-man advantage, although I guess in hindsight you didn't because that scout was in your forward spawn. I don't know how to pronounce his name, like whatever this name is. But you did have Uber advantage. So you guys could either choose to go in and solo the Uber and get rid of it, or you could go in for a force and like you literally sacrifice for the force, in which case I think you could have done a better bomb. Like you could have bombed directly onto Luxor's head and gotten a force that way if that's what your aim was. But yeah, you're about to have a sick play right here. A round saving play. This is a round saving play right here. Very, very good. You know your team is down 30% advantage, and you have to make something happen, otherwise you'll lose the round. And you hide above your awning, and then you drop down and land the rockets you need to secure that medic. That's very, very good. Okay, we are almost 20 minutes into this demo. I'm going to finish out this round, and then we'll call it right here. So let's look at the rest of this round and see what happens, because I don't want to make this video go on too long. So Summer is disguised as the enemy medic, and what you guys saw right there, for those of you guys who are newer to the game, what he did was he pulled out his sapper and then disguised as the enemy medic, and what that does is it tells you what Uber gun the enemy medic is using. So he knows 100% that Luxor is using normal Uber and not Kritzkrieg. That's a really smart thing to do. When both medics die, it's potentially, if you saw my other video, you'll know that like it's potential for the other medic to go Kritzkrieg right here. And Summer's just all he's doing is checking to make sure that's not happening. So really, really intelligent play right here. Now you guys are down 40% and Ictus feeds again. So you have to give up all this space, and I like the decision to hold last. Now you should be building super duper hard. You should be building, and you need to scout underneath to see if they're coming. Perfect. But you should also be getting a buff. And if you guys were counting Ubers properly, again, I think your team was just not counting Ubers properly, because I feel like if you knew that Luxor had a 20% advantage, you would be getting buffed here and not spotting. Like you need a buff before the push starts. Anytime a push is going to come into you, you always need a buff, and not getting a buff here is a mistake. Even if like you don't want to get a lot of heals in the team fight, or even if you're going for a cheese play, I feel like that's just not the right play there. Like, and that's a low value play right there, where you're doing 1 rocket but taking 2 in return. That's just costs you your life. That whole play, the whole thing just blah. I didn't like that. Blah, blah. Gross. I would have much preferred if you would have buffed up, built out the rest of the Uber, and then you, again, don't try and start any fights. Just stall as long as you can. Like, Bear is 20% away from getting an Uber, and Ictus is X seconds away from spawning. The last thing you want to do is start a fight. So you have the right idea in terms of like scouting out where they're coming from, but you need to do it with the right timings. And make sure you prioritize. Scouting is like not as important if you already know what they're going to do. And because you know they're going to push in with a 20% advantage, because you know Ignis is dead, you don't need to scout out what they're going to do because you already know what they're going to do. I like that you go kitchen because it's been working for you really well. And I like that you went for the demo man instead of the medic because he's very weak and you're able to secure these. Oh, this is the mid that I saw. This was amazing. Yeah, this is the one. Oh, wait, I told you guys I would end this demo review. Holy crap. Well, I'm going to end it right there because it just makes Summer look really, really good at the game. That mid, if you just want to rewind back like 20 seconds and watch him do that again, that was a really, really good mid. As you saw, bottom right mids were more successful than top left mids. Generally, your roaming soldier was like really, really solid. Like the plays that you made on their medic were like round saving, awesome medic kills. So really, really good. And the things I would like not do would be like just recognizing, like if you're counting Ubers properly, then you know what they're going to do next. So you don't need to like, you can plan for that better. All right, that was a really bad way of saying that, but yeah, if you know what they're going to do next, you can plan for it better, then make your rotations faster, and then also maybe study a little bit of pocket soldier so you like know how to do that when Thor dies. Okay, thanks for watching this video, guys. Catch you next time.